know that there is a publishing company that wants to make life easier for you as a writer. This publishing company is called World Inkers Printing and Publishing. We publish in all different languages, and we're looking for writers of all genres, all formats. We're looking for scholars, ghostwriters, playwrights, poets, short fiction, novelists, you name it. We're looking for anybody who is interested in writing and the craft of writing to be in touch with us. You can reach us at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. With World Inkers Printing and Publishing, you do not require a lot of money to publish with us. Contact us today at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. Become a winner with other authors at World Inkers Printing and Publishing. Give us a shot. We will surely finish you.
Okay, welcome to Talking Politics. My name is Robert Press. As you can see by my official New York City press card, I write for the Bronx Chronicle. I also contribute to the Co-op City News, Parkchester Times, which, like this show, is part of Muslim media. And the views and opinions on this show are that of the host, any guest or comments, and not necessarily that of Muslim media. I apologize for coming on a little late. We've just finished another show as this station is becoming very popular. Now, let me get into today's weather. As I look out the window and I see it is a washout today. It's going to rain mostly all day, winding down in the evening with a high of only 60 today. Saturday, tomorrow, there'll be pockets of rain. I'm sorry, Malcolm Gray. It may rain on your Jerome Avenue Gun Hill bid event tomorrow, but it's going to be at least in the low 60s. So take, and it should rain only ending maybe early in the afternoon. Sunday, it's going to be cloudy and windy with a high in the upper 50s. And Monday, it should clear and with a possible return to about 70 by the end of the week. On to news. President Biden, I can't pronounce his name. President Biden, Joe Biden, visited Israel, and he declared that the rockets that destroyed a Gaza hospital did not come from Israel, but were missiles from Hamas in Gaza that went off course and hit the hospital, causing hundreds of innocent deaths. The death toll currently now is in the thousands in Israel, in the Middle East war, with close to 50 missing or dead Americans. I hope our president is worried about the missing and dead Americans, that they come back and if they're dead, they get a proper burial. If they're still alive, we get them back in one piece. Now, President Biden is also proposing a $105 billion aid package. $60 million is going to go to the Ukraine. And it's been said that Ukraine missiles, though, have been launched on Israel. So I don't know if if Congress will pass that. But in order to try and get it passed, he added $14 billion for Israel, $14 billion for managing the Mexican border and fighting the fentanyl trafficking, and $7 billion for the Indo-Pacific region, which includes Taiwan. Governor Hochul also visited Israel recently, and while en route on the airplane, she learned of her father's passing. She then went to the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem to place a note in the wall for her father. Mayor Adams has already visited Israel about a month or two ago, and he has repeated that New York City's support for Israel, as most elected officials are with him, especially Senator Schumer, who is very concerned about the situation. However, we do have some of the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America elected officials, who are supporting Hamas, and they are coming to pro-Palestine events. And so these are the DSA members. I'm sure you know who is a DSA-backed candidate. We have Congressman Jamal Bowman. Pardon me on that, Senator Bailey. It's Congressman Jamal Bowman and Congresswoman Alessandra Ocasio-Cortez, as well as maybe a few other wannabe DSA candidates. Governor Cuomo is not out of the picture yet. it seems his top aide, Melissa DeRusso, isn't done defending her disgraced former boss. In her upcoming book, What's Left Unsaid, My Life at the Center of Power in Politics and Crisis, the Cuomo crony alleged that New York Attorney General Letitia James slimed the first woman to accuse the then governor of sexual misconduct and not credible, and flagged initial doubts about a second accuser. DeRusso accused James of making the remark about Lindsey Boyland, the woman who opened the floodgates for a wave of Cuomo accusers, even before the Attorney General had launched a bombshell sexual misconduct probe in early 2021. It says, Melissa, I was at an event yesterday, so many people came up to me and said, Lindsey Boyland is not credible. DeRusso, who played a key role in trying to suppress Cuomo's spiraling sexual harassment scandal, wrote, quoting what she claims James said. She is not credible. James then allegedly went on to flag her skepticism about Cuomo's second accuser, Charlotte Bennett. DeRusso writes in the excerpt obtained by the paper, the New York Post, and it goes on to say that lawyers for Lindsey Boyland ripped DeRusso, saying that she has no credibility. Mr. Rosa has said in this conversation occurred before any investigation interview took place, which makes it irrelevant. Both the Attorney General's office and the State Assembly found Mr. Cuomo sexually harassed these women, the Attorney General said in a statement. Meanwhile, DeRusso continues to pile on James elsewhere in her memoir, claiming the Attorney General once took a swipe at Mayor Adams by alleging he had a baggage of the female kind. What that means, I have no idea, while having drinks with James in Lower Manhattan in 2019. A representative for Mayor Adams, emphasized Mayor's warm relation with Attorney General James and dismissed the alleged James smear by DeRusso. Mayor Adams and Attorney General James have been friends for decades and have always teased each other about the other needing to be married to make it in politics. But time and again, the mayor and the Attorney General have proven that not being married has no impact on their ability to govern. It sounds like Mr. DeRusso just has a misunderstanding about the conversation that Adams' representative said. As we talk about Mayor Adams, let me go to this part. One of his top aides, and this comes from the New York Post on Wednesday, was accosted by a security guard at a Manhattan Migrant Assistance Center while trying to enter the facility for a standard inspection on Tuesday, according to City Hall and law enforcement sources. A heated argument first erupted around 5:30 p.m. after mayoral staffer Tim Pearson attempted to walk into the former Touro College building in Midtown, which now operates as a migrant respite center, when he was stopped by security guards who asked that he identify himself, sources said. Pearson gave his name, and the guards then asked for his identification, which sparked an exchange of words that escalated and became physical, according to the sources. Without naming Pearson, City Hall confirmed the incident and said it occurred during an unannounced quality assurance inspection of the migrant emergency site. As part of standard operating procedure, a member of our team was denied access to a city contractor operated site and then accosted by a contractor operating on the site, a spokesman for the mayor's office said to put a post. At the time of the ordeal, Pearson was wearing a fleece jacket and identified himself as an aide to the mayor, sources said. One security guard was reportedly slapped with a summons for disorderly conduct, and a second security guard is likely to have been also slapped with a summons and charged with resisting arrest and obstructing government administration. Mayor Adams has said that the 60-day limit, by the way, for shelter stays for migrant families, which will soon go into effect amid the ongoing migrant crisis. The mayor is also looking to cap the shelter stay for single adult migrants to 30 days. As it stands, we now have about 130 migrants that have come to New York City, and the city is caring for over 60,000 of them. On a brighter note, though, State Controller Tom DiNapoli says that the tax receipts are higher than projected through the first half of this year. State tax receipts total $51.5 billion through the first 6 months of state fiscal year 23-24. which is 1.7 billion higher than estimates released in the Division of Budget, DOB, we're going to call it that, July update for the enacted budget fiscal plan. However, tax receipts were 6.9 billion lower than the first half of state fiscal year 2022-23, according to the monthly state cash report released by the State Controller's Office. The economy exhibited resilience in the first half of the year, DiNapoli said. Continued job gains, wage growth, and easing inflation were all contributing factors to the higher than expected tax receipts. However, global unrest, labor strikes, and a potential federal government shutdown, which was averted, could slow the economy, which it has, adding to existing budget challenges that include significant out-year budget gaps. I'm not going to go into a little bit more, but he says the state general fund ended September with a balance of 48 billion, 3 billion higher than the DOB projected, primary due to higher anticipated tax collection and lower anticipated spending. Now, those tax rates should go up as more and more cannabis stores open up, because that's why the state wants to push these cannabis stores. They're going to get tax money on the cannabis rather than have these illegal stores that are being raided. And we saw some here in the Bronx raided. Assemblyman John Sicaro Jr. went with the sheriff, but the sheriff only has limited power. He's going in to check tax stamps on the cigarettes. And only if he finds illegal tax stamps or no tax stamps on the cigarettes, then he can go and check the rest of the store. But he must first only check the cigarettes, so he has very limited power. Let's move on to Rikers Island. As of September 1st, 6,138 people were incarcerated in the city's jails. It's 44 people fewer than August 1st. That's still nearly double the bed capacity of the new borough-based jails intended to replace facilities on Rikers Island. In August, the Department of Correction admitted 1,911 people to the jails, but they also discharged 1,945. A small, hopeful gain as far as the discharge. In August, the average time spent in custody dropped from 92 days to 92 days, a 12-day decrease from the prior month. Judges assigned cash bail to 1,308 people in July, which is the latest data that was available. The Department of Correction gained 21 officers between July and August, totaling 6,424 average uniformed officers. That was the last increase of officers was in 2023. I'm going to go into the details. The total number of uniformed officers on sick leave continues to trend downward. It declined to 437 in August. Violence indicators mostly increased in August. However, there were 43 assaults on staff, which was the same number in July. There were 45 slashings and stabbings in August, 21 more than in July. 477 fights occurred, more than July. And Health and Hospitals Corporation did not update the data for people with serious mental illness or missed medical appointments. And the most recent data was from June of 2023, where there was close to 2,000 people who had mental illness, it was reported. Now, there was a notice that came out that the Health and Hospitals Corporation was going to have a public hearing on Jacoby Hospital and the Just Home project, and only a few hours later, it was withdrawn. Now, let me just remind you that as part of this Rikers Island plan, there is to put a minimum of 50 people incarcerated currently in Rikers Island who are in the infirmary, and they originally, while the Health and Hospitals Corporation said these people would be with stage 4 end cancer, they wouldn't be able to go anywhere, but then they reduced it down to as little as diabetes, and then said that they will be free to roam around the area, these people who have been incarcerated in Rikers Island, and they can take public transportation, and the community is fighting back, and the community, which the Indian Village Alliance was formed to fight the proposal of Just Home, as well as other quality of life issues. And I might say that I am a member of the Indian Village Alliance. Continuing, though, on Rikers, new hospital units for Rikers detainees are behind schedule. City officials said Wednesday the 3 new units will have fewer beds and open later than originally planned. Ahead of an oversight hearing Wednesday on plans for the 3 new hospitals for people in custody, City Council members joined a rally to demand investments that support closing the jails on Rikers Island. City Council members slammed the Adams administration Wednesday for further delaying the narrowing plans to open dedicated units at 3 public hospitals for people who are incarcerated, a key component of the initiative to close Rikers by 2027. During a council oversight hearing, City Hospital and Correction officers said the 3 outposted therapeutic housing units will include 363 beds across New York City's hospitals and health and hospitals, Bellevue, Woodhull, and North Central Bronx hospitals. The original plan laid out in 2021 by former Mayor Bill de Blasio calls for 394 beds. There are, I believe, about over 500 people currently in the infirmary at Rikers Island. So that means that about 150 people will be shipped over to Jacoby Hospital in what is called I can't describe it. It's called they'll get a studio apartment at little or no rent, and like I said, the community is against it. Let's move on to e-bikes. It has been the deadliest year for cyclists in New York in decades, but most of the deaths include e-bikes. Mayor Adams' administration is planning to introduce traffic safety education programs targeted at food delivery workers who use e-bikes in response to increased cyclist fatalities. Mayor Adams' administration is calling for more education and street redesign programs ahead of heavily handed enforcement in an effort to curb a sharp rise in bike deaths. Despite a drop in pedestrian fatalities over the last 2 years, down from 123 in the year 2021 to 114 in 2023, New York has seen a drastic uptick in cyclist fatalities. 26 cyclists have died so far this year in calendar 2013. Kevin Diola, I'm surprised you're not making a comment on this. And about 70% were riding e-bikes, according to Deputy Mayor for Operations, Miera Joshi. While cyclist advocacy groups continue to call for the mayor to improve bike lane infrastructure, Adams and his administration say they are also focusing their attention towards e-bikes, which can often move faster than traditional bikes. One life lost because of traffic fatalities is one too many, Joshi said at a Tuesday news conference. For the last 3 years, e-bikes have been a larger source of fatalities year over year. Now, I wish, they would discuss the proposals of having, maybe if we put some license plates and we stop these e-bikes from going through red lights, that they may not get hurt, the riders of the e-bikes or bikes. Because if you look and you're out there, you have to, when you're crossing the street, you have to be very careful that a cyclist is not coming and going right through the light. And we've had pedestrians hit by bicycles. That number is going up by bicycles and e-bikes. Let's move on to the outdoor dining NYC, because the setup is on city streets in spring 2024. New York City Mayor Adams and Department of Transportation Commissioner Ydanis Rodriguez took a major step to advance Dining Out NYC. The city's permanent outdoor dining program, the largest in the country. The Adams administration is launching a public outreach and engagement campaign to solicit feedback on new proposed rules, which I have put. This will be up on my blog at www.100percentbronx.blogspot.com. That's 100%.blogspot.com. The DOT, in partnership with the Department of Small Business Services, will engage with local residents, restaurants, businesses, trade associations, and community groups to solicit feedback on the proposed rules for the program. The first approved dining out New York City setups are expected to hit New York City streets in 2024. Now, I'm surprised that the community boards have been left out of this, because Community Board 11 has lots of problems. It seems like there's lots of infighting on Community Board 11, However, they passed a resolution approving the new cannabis store on White Plains Road, which does not have a lease yet. And it appears that Community Board 10 had a public hearing on the Westchester Avenue cannabis location, but Community Board 11 is not. And I might note that last night at the Leadership Committee, I made a comment, and the district manager of Community Board 11 snapped back out of order, and I will be filing a complaint about that district manager. You can see it on the Leadership Committee film from Community Board 11. They have video, and you'll see it probably about, well, when they allowed the public to speak for 2 minutes each. Okay, now, getting back to the sidewalk dining, the New York City Department of Transportation, which has made these rules, what are we proposing? The New York City Department of Transportation proposing to amend Title 34 of the Rules of New York City to add a new Chapter 5 to establish rules relating to the DOT's Dining Out NYC program. When and where are the hearings? DOT will hold public hearings on the proposed rule online. The public hearing will take place November 20th, 2023 at 10 a.m. You can join through the internet that I will post, as I said, on my blog, 100%.blogspot.com. I will also post it on my Facebook page, 100%, and I will link it to other pages, because this is a 29-page report that they want you to testify on, where and how to send the written testimony, and where will also be included. Here's a little bit of what they want to do. They want to amend the chapter to set forth penalties for violations of rules relating to the outdoor dining program. They want to establish requirements for temporary outdoor dining setups authorized to continue to operate pursuant to Local Law 121, which was recently adopted on an emergency basis pursuant to Subdivision I of Section 1043 of the Charter. Yes, it's a lot. License application fees, there shall be separate fees for granting and renewal of a sidewalk cafe license and a roadway cafe license. Such fees shall be non-refundable, and you're going to have to pay $1,050 for either a roadway cafe granting license or the renewal of the license, and a separate fee for a sidewalk cafe. So in essence, if you want to have a sidewalk cafe and a roadway cafe, you're going to have to pay $2,100 just for the fee. Now, there will be community board review, which has been happening for sidewalk cafes, but not street cafes, because no later than 40 days after the receipt of such petition, the board must either notify the public of such petition, they must conduct a public hearing thereon, and submit written recommendations to the department, provided where such recommendation is submitted. After 40 days, the receipt of such petition, such recommendation may be accepted by the Department of Transportation at the sole discretion of the department. The board can waive by a written statement its public hearing and recommendations on such petition in accordance with the regulations set forth in Subdivision B of Section 19-160.2 of the Administrative Code. Department of Notice of public hearings at least 15 days prior to the hearing required to be held, and it talks about the borough president and a council member, and not less than 5 days prior to the date of any such hearing. Notice shall be published in the city record, print online, or one newspaper in the local circulation in the community where such cafe is proposed to be located, and the petitioner shall bear the cost of the publication online. There is also an annual fee rate schedule, as far as where you're going to have your sidewalk, the cafe, the street cafe, or the roadway cafe. There are 4 sectors that the city has. In Sector 1, the fee will be $6 per square foot for a sidewalk cafe, $5 per square foot for a roadway cafe. In Sector 2, it would be $10 to $8. Sector 3 will be $18 for the street, $14 for the sidewalk, and in Sector 4, $31 to $25. That's per square foot. On January 28th, and every 4 years thereafter, the department may increase or decrease such compensation for an enclosed sidewalk cafe in accordance with the increases, the decreases in the sector rates. Now, it does not say which sector is which. Here in the Bronx, it will probably be Sector 1, which is the lowest price of $6 per square foot in the roadway and $5 per square foot on the sidewalk, whereas Sector 4, the highest at $31 for the roadway and $25 for the sidewalk, is probably going to be in Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan. It also includes hours of operations that sidewalk cafes and roadways cafes may operate, and with the exception of enclosed sidewalk cafes that are permitted to operate before 10 a.m. on Sunday. Now, the hours that you can have a sidewalk cafe or roadway cafe: Sunday 10 a.m. to midnight, Monday 8 a.m. to midnight, Tuesday 8 a.m. to midnight, Wednesday 8 a.m. to midnight, Thursday 8 a.m. to midnight, Friday 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. Saturday, and Saturday 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. Sunday. No beer, alcoholic, or spiritual liquors shall be served on a sidewalk cafe or a roadway cafe unless permitted by the New York State Liquor Authority. There'll be no smoking. Smoking or using electronic cigarettes is prohibited within sidewalk cafe and roadway cafes pursuant to Subdivision C of Section 17503 of the Administrative Code. Also included are distances from such items as subway entrances and fire hydrants. They must be 15 feet away. Curb cuts, city bike location, tree beds, 5 feet away. Manhole covers, transformer vaults, grates at great ventilator grates, 1 foot 6 inches away. Now, I personally don't know how these restaurants are going to comply with these new fees or taxes, as they are struggling to stay afloat right now. I'm going to go into the elections. In the 13th Council District, it seems that doing business with the city, people doing business with the city, there is a summary, and it seems that current Councilwoman Marjorie Velazquez, in her bid in 2017, took contributions from 45 businesses doing business with the city for $6,155 transactions, and she had to refund $250 of that. In the 2021 race, she took donations from 51 people doing business with the city for a total of $4,778, and she had to give back $130. Thank you, Kevin, for mentioning the Community Board 10 meeting. But however, this year, Councilwoman Velazquez took contributions from 84 people doing business with the city, or companies, I should say, for $15,025, which she had to refund $250. Now, that's only for the 8th period. We're only a little bit. There are more reporting periods. And let me just say, our opponent, Christy Maramato, had no contributions. This is from the campaign finance website. 0 contributions from people doing business with the city. And as we look at people who have endorsed Marjorie Velazquez, the current councilwoman, we see that here we have Jamal Bowman, the fireman. Let's see, where is he? Here we go. Jamal Bowman, the fireman who pulled the alarm at the right as the House was trying to get the budget gap, to avert a government shutdown. Also, we see former State Senator Alessandra Biaggi, who were both partners in the DSA, along with Congresswoman Alessandra Ocasio-Cortez, who basically it was my debate in 2018, the Parkchester Times debate, that helped propel Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez into office. Yes, I know people are going to say that wasn't it. It was a big part of it. But the big question is, where does Marjorie Velazquez live? It seems that in 2021, and let me pull out the paper, on June 22nd, this is from the state, this is the real property transfer. It is for 3366 Agar Place in the Bronx. It is to J.R. Lynch and Marjorie Velazquez, who are married currently, but I hear that may be a problem. And after the election, you may see some information about that. I've been told by informed sources that Mr. Lynch will be filing for a divorce. Again, that's from informed sources. Again, the papers, as you saw, the Post had informed sources. Now, the sale contract date was 6/22/21, and the date of sale, the transfer, where they took ownership of the house, was October 8th, 2021. And the cost of that nice house on the water in Country Club was $1,130,000. And in the mortgage, it says that it is the prime residence of the couple. And let me just show you one more thing. This is a Department of Environmental Protection customer registration form for water and sewer billing to owner's name, J.R. Lynch and Marjorie Velazquez. Now, that brings me up to my next point. I have now here the Board of Elections printout. The date is April 14th, 2023. You can see that date right there, I believe. Okay, April 14th. Now, it shows candidate Marjorie Velazquez. Let me get this up here. But look at the address on Councilwoman Marjorie Velazquez. It is 3707 East Tremont Avenue in the Bronx. So if she bought the house in 2021 in Country Club on Agar Place, and there's been no record of any sale of it, how does Marjorie Velazquez live at 3707 East Tremont Avenue? Is this election fraud? I mean, what is going on? And in her, this is a candidate that has no record to run on. She's gone after people, just putting up that they're Republicans, they're twins, and now she's attacking her current candidate, her opponent, Christy Maramato, as a Magna. What does she mean? Donald Trump, and this is the typical campaign of Marjorie Velazquez to smear her opponents because she has no record to run on. And with that, I mean, there are a couple of upcoming events that I wanted to get into. So quickly, let me get into it. Let's see, where is that? Well, we'll go with this one. There is a Safe Streets by State Senator Natalia Fernandez, Assemblyman members John Sicaro Jr. and Michael Benedetto at 1018 Morris Park Avenue in the Bronx. There'll be candies, popcorn, health snacks. It's in front of the Big Deal Supermarket. And the reason that you have the two assemblymen, because Morris Park Avenue is the dividing line between two assembly districts. John Sicaro Jr. is north of Morris Park Avenue. Michael Benedetto has the south part of Morris Park Avenue. And what can I say? Let me just end the show here now. Thank you for watching. And early voting starts next Saturday, October 28th, runs for 9 days until Sunday, November 5th, I believe. And then election day is Tuesday, November 7th. You must get out and vote for the person that you feel is the best. Next week, we'll have more on the election in the 13th Council District, which newspapers are calling the only race, one of the two races to watch. The other race is a race in Brooklyn for City Council. I believe it's the 46th Council District. I'll have the exact number next week. But these are the two races that the political experts throughout the country say that they're watching. Thank you for watching this show today, this afternoon, whenever you watch it, and have a good day.